Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look at Dent. Obviously, everyone is curious what's going on right now, getting a lot of requests to take a look at the recent price hike by Dent, which was no surprise, right? We all know this is going places. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at that and obviously just quickly compare Bitcoin as well to kind of see the correlation, as I always like to do. So let's go ahead and get right to it. All right, folks. Let's go ahead and take a look at Dent Wireless. We're just going to go ahead and just dive right in so you can kind of see what happened today and obviously do a quick comparison with Bitcoin as well, because we all know how that works. So let's go ahead and take a look. First thing we're going to look at is Dent, just to kind of take a quick peek here, of course, at the price action for today, which is fantastic. As you can see yesterday when I did my last review, it was right here on this channel, right around 80.0081. Okay. And then it did dip down and it spiked up and went above the resistance level. So just before we go ahead and take a closer look at Dent, I do like to kind of just get a quick comparison, show you Bitcoin first to see what that looks like, because Bitcoin has performed well in the past 12 hours. So yesterday, Bitcoin was on the increase, on the rise when we last looked at this. But what's cool about this, and take a look here, the previous resistance level of 53,305, right in that range, it was actually broken here today. So take a look at that. It was broken, now it's working as a support line. Fantastic. It also broke above all three moving averages, at least on the 15-minute chart. Now I bet we take a look at the 4-hour, we're not there yet. In fact, let's look at that now. We are above the 50-day moving average on the 4-hour chart. This is big, this is important, because now we have two support lines right now for Bitcoin. Okay, this is awesome. So we want to keep that. VWAP is catching up, and the next milestone, of course, would be somewhere in the range of about 57,000. Presently, that's where the 100 and 200-day moving averages are. Okay, so just something to be mindful of, because when Bitcoin is performing better, other coins do as well. Obviously, Dent coin is a bit of an exception. It doesn't exactly follow Bitcoin to a T, which is nice, but it does help, of course, because the overall sentiment right now appears to be a little bit more on the bullish side when it comes to Bitcoin. And you can see that with the moving average convergence divergence, the MACD down below, and the RSI being under 60 is still a very affordable, very much, it's not oversold yet, okay, which is great. We want to have that. And just to quickly compare too, if you see back when it was up at 64,000, RSI was overextended over 70, well over 70, so you can see why there was a bit of a sell-off and it continued to come back down. That's neither here nor there. There was a lot of news, of course, but just generally speaking, RSI under 60 is a good point right now for Bitcoin. All right, let's go ahead and look at Dent now. So we'll just start with a one-day chart and work our way down, as we always do. And you'll see the resistance and support lines that I have drawn out here from yesterday's analysis. So we had a, 0.0077. Remember, that was pretty strong resistance for a couple of days, and now that is a support once more. And of course, the new resistance line that is also turned to support is 0.0085. That's awesome. Price is now at 1 cent and potentially climbing. So we're in very, very good shape here. Now let's take a look at the indicators on the 4-hour chart. And just before we do, just note the RSI is climbing up, still at 50, not a big deal. And as you can see, the momentum is shifting bullishly on the MACD. Now let's take a look at the 4-hour chart, because again, this carries the most weight. This has the most, it's basically the most important indicators for me personally. The RSI and the MACD seem to work exceptionally well. So let's take a look at this here. Now, of course, we got our support and resistance lines. Whenever we're looking at the review yesterday, it was right in this range here just before it climbed up. So we were at like 0.008 yesterday at this time. So it's performed excellent in the last 12 hours, 24 hours, looking good. We're up above the 50-day moving average, as well as the fact that the 100-day moving average was tested, and currently it's being rejected, but it's nothing to worry about because with the momentum that we're at right now, I think it should and could continue to climb. But that would be another potential resistance level that we need to kind of pay attention to. So let's go ahead and mark that really quick. Oops, sorry. Let's go ahead and mark that. We're looking at roughly, we could just say round number 1 cent. So that is the new potential resistance level, is 1 cent, just a little over. Okay, and the RSI is climbing. We're at about 65. So I would be mindful of your entry. Anything close, just say close to 70 can be potentially too late, if you will. So just be mindful of that. We want to look at the 15-minute chart, perhaps even the 5-minute chart, to identify the best entry point for you. But I can tell you right now, the way the numbers are, we probably want to take a very close look at a lower time frame to ensure we're in the right place, because 65 RSI, it's just outside of my comfort zone. And then of course we got the MACD trending upwards, and it's been doing so quite well over the last 24 to 48 hours. All right, so let's take a look at the 15 minutes, see if we can find or identify a new entry point. And here is the new resistance level of roughly 0.0104. We can just round up and say, or round down and say 1 cent. But it's the things to note here, and what do you see right away, first of all? There's two things that I see that are positive. First of all, the volume weighted average price is still working as a strong support level, and it has been for some time. That's excellent, as well as the fact that the moving day average, the 50-day moving average right here, bounced off twice, and you could almost say that is a new support level. So 0.0091 could be a stronger support level here. It's been hit 4 times, and it was previously resistance twice. So I think we should probably mark that. These should probably be the newest support and resistance levels, just in case the 1 cent line isn't established itself as a support level, because you can see it's trying to work above, it's trying to stay above 1 cent, but if it falls below, then it'll work itself into a channel here. Another thing to note also is the RSI. It is overextended, but again, the 15-minute chart RSI doesn't matter as much as the 4-hour chart, so I think you're still in pretty good shape there, but there's no doubt that it is considered overbought right now still, but we'll see what happens soon. So, before we look at a smaller chart, why don't we take a hypothetical look here as to what would be a good entry point. Now, obviously we don't want to miss out, but don't let fear of missing out affect your decision to jump in, because at this point, with the price being where it's at, it is still a little high. It's overextended, there's no doubt. Considered to be overbought at this point. So ideally right now, if we're to take entry, just say for example, we'd want for this green bar here to close above the 1 cent line. And we'd also want a second, or possibly even third, I would say a third green bar to close above the 1 cent margin, the 1 cent line. Because if this green bar doesn't close above, and we have a couple of red bars work its way underneath, then it's going to be working itself into a channel in between the volume weighted average price and the resistance level of 1 cent. Again, this is a potential resistance, but it's also a potential support. So it's testing and trying to find out, but it's important to wait for confirmation. So just say hypothetically you took entry back here where we got the red bar, and you didn't wait for confirmation. See what happens? There's 2 red bars there, it came down below. So you very well could have taken a bad position if you jumped right in as soon as the price had jumped up like it did. So again, be patient, look for all the indicators, and don't just jump right in. But based on what we see here so far, it's looking good. It does look like it's trying to break above and stay above the 1 cent line. So I do feel like that will be perhaps a newer support level, but we'll have to wait and see. So just pay attention to how the price reacts to the 1 cent level. If it stays above, and just say we get confirmation no less than 30 minutes above that line, then we'd be in pretty good shape to consider taking entry. Just remember not to take a large entry. I would say a smaller percent, perhaps 25, 30, maybe even 35% of your total position, because even though we have confirmation, we don't have any other resistance lines that we're working towards. So a lot of times the price can come, go south on you, so to speak. So you want to be kind of careful with your entry. Do not go all in just yet. What I would prefer to see is the price come down a little bit and be able to take some entry after it bounces off the 50 or 100-day moving average. So we'll see over the next couple of, maybe 2 to 4 hours what happens here, because the moving average will continue to increase, and if the price stays lateral, then we'll see it work itself into a channel. And usually when there's a channel for a longer period of time, there's always a breakout. It could go up, could go down, but we'll look at that again closer, likely again soon. So again, be careful with your entry point. Don't jump in just yet. Let's wait for confirmation before we do that. And another thing too I want to show you as well is just kind of the 1 minute chart, because not a lot of people look at this. And 1 minute charts are good to identify kind of what's actually happening on a cellular level, because you can see the price is trying to work its way up above that resistance level. And as you can tell right now it is, and it's hanging up above these moving averages. Now keep in mind, these are not the best moving averages for this short of a time frame. We'd likely want to probably use somewhere in the range of 9 to 15. So I could make this adjustment here. Why don't we just go ahead and work with, make this a 9, and we'll switch this over to 15. And we'll just go ahead and make that one go away. So as you can kind of see, these are working a little bit more as consistent support and resistance levels. So there isn't a large variance here at this point, which is great. Basically just means that it's trying to find its true price right now. But the key is that the volume weighted average price, which has the most validity on a 1 minute chart, is still below. Okay, so the price is staying above VWAP, and presently it's trying to push and test and stay above the 1 cent line. So if we can get another 20, 30, 40 minutes worth of consistency above this line, preferably staying above these two moving averages, then we'll be in pretty good shape. So I guess here, for my recommendation, I would say, is to ensure that you are taking entry at the right time, and the right time has to be after confirmation. So we got to wait for the price to be confirmed, and to do that, we wait no less than 30 minutes above the 1 cent line. So if we can continue to see, it doesn't have to be red, it doesn't have to be all green bars on the 1 minute chart. It can be red and green. That's why I prefer to use the 15-minute chart, because the fact that two 15-minute green bars tells you that in that 15-minute period we've had a much stronger time frame. So I highly recommend, when you take entry here, you wait for at least 30 minutes for confirmation and make sure the price is over the 1 cent line. If the price, just say, goes red for two 15-minute green bars, two 15-minute red bars, so say we close here with two red bars and it's under the $1 mark, I would wait to take position until we see the resistance levels being tested. Okay, so we need to make sure the price stays above. I guess that's what I'm trying to get across here. All right, so that's just something that I like to recommend. Those are my thoughts. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell you in my experience, these things have worked very well to be able to pay attention to confirmation, make sure you wait. So I'm not saying you take entry right now. Yes, the price is coming up, and you're starting to perhaps feel like the fear of missing out is there, but I promise you, if you wait, you'll be rewarded. There's going to be some missed opportunities here and there, don't get me wrong. It's not a perfect system, but there is no perfect system in this scenario, especially when the price spikes up the way that it just did. So I prefer to wait longer for confirmation when the price has acted as it has recently, because it jumped up almost maybe just say 10% in a matter of 30 minutes. So to me, waiting for confirmation is the most important here. So anyways, I'll stop spinning my wheels here. I hope I got the point across, and I hope you do find this to be beneficial. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll go ahead and see you in the next video. Thanks so much for your time.